Alright, welcome to Hardcore Enduro, where it's all about getting out and riding the hard stuff. I'm George, the guy behind the bars, and the voice behind the mic. And today we're racing. I love racing, very competitive. I love when we get a chance to come out and do some racing. And this is a Sprint Enduro. Never done a Sprint Enduro before. This one's put on by the 100's MC down in Lucerne Valley. It's a funny race. It's very fast-paced. It doesn't beat you down and grind you up and make you wish you weren't riding anymore, like a Hare and Hound can do, or a Hard Enduro can do. It just beats you up, kicks your butt. So this Sprint Enduro, first test here, we're off. It's a 5-mile sprint, and then we'll hit test 2, which is 6 miles. Test 3 is 7 miles, and each test is a little bit harder than the previous one. This one's got to have a lot of open riding, open desert riding, just some sandy turns that the berm starts building up, or rut starts building up. And that's kind of my weakest one, so test 1 for me is my hardest one. Even though it's easier terrain, for me it was a harder ride just because I got the WR450. It's a heavy bike. It's at 270 pounds. I'm 220 pounds, so it's just a lot of weight coming in. It takes longer to come in and stop. It's harder to keep your balance because it's got a lot of power, so you hit the gas and it just starts fishtailing on you. That a lighter bike would do a lot better through this type of terrain. If you saw my nephew's video, Case, he ran this, and I posted that for him to learn and see how he rode. And then it's, for me, a good comparison how I rode to how he rides. So I've been teaching him everything I know, and then also what we learned from other people's videos. And then he's got a lot of talent, so both him and Jace, you know, they're very instinctual. I think they've got some natural talent for riding. They just love to be on the bike, and it's just awesome to see them grow and get better and better and better every time we ride and every time we race. There's one of my classic just going straight through the bush moves. I seem to do it almost every race. So here you can see I struggle through the turns. My front end just kind of gets really squirrely, back end squirrely. I do fine in the straightaways. I can do fine through the whoops. That's not a problem. It's the sandy turns. Sprint Enduro, they have some helpers out here, some guys watching the track, so you're only allowed 25 feet deviance from the main line, and if you get past that, or if you cut a corner or something like that, they can dock you 2 minutes on your final time of the race, which they haven't posted results yet, so I don't know if I ever got docked. I don't know how I did for the times. Waiting for those results, like the motor tally. They're behind in several races getting results out. I don't know what's going on. So at the start of the race, they let everyone go every 15 seconds, and then they lined us up in the beginning by your class. And I'm in the 40 plus class of the heavyweight bike with the 450. But after that, the Sprint Enduro, what I really like about it is there's no like set time of when to do the race. Like between test 1, test 2, you can go have a sandwich, you know, rest. You can go straight into the next race if you want, or take a break. You know, if you gotta make a pit stop, fix your bike, do that. You can. I really like that. So I took a lot of the fatigue, I know it's a sprint enduro, so they want us going as fast as we can. So it's kind of cool. The Hare and Hound, you know, Hare and Hound's like running a full marathon. There's just no breaks, no mercy, and by the end of the race, you're questioning, do I even like riding dirt bikes anymore? Because you're so worn out. You haven't seen anyone in miles and miles. And you start just like, why am I doing this? But hey, made my first pass. I was pretty happy. If you're racing, you're competitive, you love passing people. You hate getting passed, but you love doing the passing. So that was cool about the Sprint Enduro. You're constantly running into the next rider, the next rider, the next rider, or you're getting passed by riders. Whereas the Hare and Hound, at the end, you haven't seen anyone in miles and miles and miles. So this guy ahead of me here, his name's Richard, and he's a fellow devil dog. So he just happened to be lined up next to me at the start, and I gave him a simplify and talked to him. You know, I like meeting the other riders out there, so when I line up, I always left and right. How you doing? What's going on? You know, how long you been racing? I'm always fascinated, and I love meeting people out there when I ride. So Richard, he's a good rider. He's ridden all kinds of. He's done the Baja 1000. He's done the Mint 400, the Vegas to Reno, and who knows what else. He's ridden all those big desert races. That's awesome. Love it. Coming up here in a little bit is where Jace had his big crash that my nephew, he was right in front of my nephew case, and there's a little blue danger flag there, and I'm gonna come up and I'm actually gonna crash at the same exact spot that Jace did, and I don't know how. So there's a little blue danger right there. I wasn't coming in hot. The front end just slid on me a little bit and just laid it over. I think just that little bit of rock face is a little bit, I don't know, I came in at an angle trying to cut the corner there. I've watched it again and again. I just don't know why I crashed. It was just a dumb mistake. I wasn't coming in hot like Jace. He was coming flying in, really jumps off the front side and bottoms out on the far side, and then gets bucked off his bike sideways, does a flip. If I didn't do that, I just had a simple layover done. Just the same exact spot. So maybe that was a valid danger point, you know. You do a lot of racing, and they have a lot of danger markers out there. And I have crashed at a previous Hare and Hound where they didn't have a danger marker. They had like just a wrong way sign, which someone else went through, and another dumb mistake. I should have picked a different line. Usually crashes are the rider's fault. We make dumb mistakes. But, you know, on Jace's crash here, it's easy to miss, like even the turn. I'm missing the turns there because I'm not seeing the markers. But it's easy to miss those danger markers. They're not, I mean, they're blue, but they're not a big sign. And if you've ever ridden, like in Hare and Hound, you lose the whole course. You'd be like half a mile off the course, but where the heck did the ribbon line go? So you start missing it because you're so focused on, you know, the terrain ahead of you. So it's real easy to miss markers. So I'm not gonna blame him for missing a marker. Yeah, I think 100's did their job. That was a good spot since we both crashed in the same spot. Definitely needed a danger marker there, but some danger markers are nothing. Like they had several danger markers you just fly right through because they were just marking like one rock or, you know, one little area that was dangerous, not a whole sandy wash. So after a while, you just keep flying through danger markers. You see them and you're like, oh, that was nothing. Oh, that was. So you go a little bit faster, like that's nothing. So you start caring less about the danger markers, which is just what happens. It's not like you're doing it on purpose. It's just how you naturally react to the race as it progresses. But enough of that. Jace, if you haven't seen his crash, he didn't get hurt. He could have got really hurt. He was going really fast. But he just flipped over, hit that, flipped over the handlebars, and just landed almost directly on his feet, stood up, and didn't have an issue at all. Just gathered his wits and kept on racing, and he had a great race, the rest of the day. So my little dump back there put me behind. I was coming up to get a pass on Richards, and I'm having to fight back to get behind him again. So little mistakes, costly in races. So I told Case, He said race smart, which I think everyone dumps their bikes on every race. Sooner or later, something's gonna happen. When you're really pushing yourself beyond your normal ride, your trail ride, your normal solo pace that you do. Race pace is always pushing your limits as a rider, so it makes you, it's gonna cause some mistakes. But I told Case, ride smart. Mistakes are costly in a race. You dump the bike, someone's going to pass you. It does, especially in a Sprint Enduro where every second matters, really. So I know I'm struggling in these turns, so I'm doing my best in turns, but I'm trying not to, lay the bike over and cost me. I kept catching back up to Richard here. And we're already coming back towards the finish line, so I'm telling you, these tests go by pretty quick. This first test, I did have a little bit of arm pump in my right arm. I don't know why my right arm was just having a little bit of fatigue. Body wasn't getting out the lactic acid, so just holding on to the grips. Just a little bit, I felt like my grip was just a little bit weak. But I was glad that, it's when you start seeing, you're coming to the finish, it has a good feeling. If you're on a long race, a Hare and Hound, so you start seeing the finish line, you start getting relieved. You're like, oh, thank God, it's going to end. It's coming in. Got a couple little rock sections here, and I like that. I like that they threw in some little technical. I mean, this isn't, I wouldn't say technical. It's just some little rock terrain. Because the open desert does get old after a while. Like, all right, there's so many open sandy wash turns I can take. So I feel like test one, this is the warm-up. When you run it the second time, it's much faster second time through in test one. And I think that way about test two. My fastest rides were definitely second time on test one, second time test two. But I was getting tired by the second time test three, so I think my first time through in test three was actually the fastest one. I haven't seen the results yet, they haven't posted them yet, so I don't know what the fastest times were, but that's how I felt riding. So we are at the end of test one. It went by pretty darn quick. So there's the start of test two. Now I'm ahead of the boys. Case, he got a banner wrapped around his tire, so I didn't know, but he rode back to the trailer. I figured they already went through, so I rested about 3 minutes, and then I started my next test here. And so Case and Jace, they're behind me at this point, which the end of test three, they'll finally catch me. So test two is supposed to be a little bit harder than test. It's another mile longer, and then they got a little bit more rocky terrain to go through. The race, of course, did have a lot of whoops in it, and whoops can really wear you out. Didn't have the extreme mileage of whoops like a Hare and Hound does, but enough whoops to really keep you on your toes. And whoops, in my opinion, you got to go fast through the whoops. The slower you go through whoops, the harder they are. So whenever you know there's a whoop section coming up, you really got to open that throttle up, get that speed, so you're just bouncing off the top of them. Because if you start going slow, you start really going into the valley of the whoop, and it's really wearing out your legs trying to keep your body weight up and absorbing all that shock and impact. I compared my ride to Case's ride. In Case, he was able to round off these corners a lot better than I did. Whereas I tried to really block him off. He rounded him off, and I think he carried a lot more speed around the turns than I did. That's a little something I'll try to change that out. I overshot that one pretty good. Still, like I said, it's easy to overshoot the turns. You're really coming in with a lot of speed. Trying to brake, you're just kind of sliding into that turn. But next time, I'll be able to think about high rotors. Next time, these open turns, just kind of round them out more. Don't try to just make it such a sharp turn here so I can carry more speed. Riding conditions for today, the weather, and it's just perfect. I think we started in the early morning, I think it was like 38, but right now it's probably around close to 50 degrees, and so it's still keeping you nice and cool. There's hardly any dust, a little slight breeze to kind of clear the dust, but there just wasn't a lot of dust, which was nice to ride. I do like having some dust. The Hare and Hounds they had earlier in the month I watched, there was like zero dust, like no dust. Which, if you look at the bomb run, it was hilarious to me. There's no dust. You just see all the riders. If you've ever done a bomb run on a Hare and Hound, it's just usually it's just a cloud of dust and you can't see anything. So you don't even see all the other riders. You're assuming they're out there and you really don't see them all. So it was funny to see that in the beginning, but having a little bit of dust helps you find where people are, so you know you're coming up on someone, or you know that the course is over there. You can kind of see it out of the corner of your eye that all right, I'm still in the right direction. So I do like having some dust. I mean, no dust would be awesome if you're right behind someone, but you're staggered here. It's nice to see some dust, so you know you're coming up on somebody. So they had this little rocky section here, and coming up there's just this one lip, this one little rock face, and every time just slammed into the front tire. Right here, this one. There's a harsh hit, and I guess you're coming to speed. I didn't have not enough pop on the front tire, and it just jolted me every time. And it comes in at a lot of this open slabs here that you can just kind of go straight, send it over the ledges. The first time through, I was still cutting, you know, zig and zagging. The second time through, I just kind of straightened it out pretty good, so you can just fly right over all those ledges. So I was just thinking about how to get around this guy through the rocks. I'm gonna have to pick a good line or wait for him. Well, he just pulled over, and that was nice for him to do that. But it's Sprint Enduro, it's about racing. I'm not a guy that expects the other guy to pull over. You know, I want me to figure out how to get around the guy. I don't want just everyone getting out of the way. And I like a battle. If someone wants to battle me and kind of have a back and forth of passing and racing, I love it. So I know some people you know, the pro guys, the fast guys, yeah, you're gonna get the hell out of their way because they don't have time for you. But if you get someone about your speed, yeah, it makes the race more fun. You know, have a battle, race back and forth, and you know, go for it. You know, you don't have to just let everyone pass you. I mean, it's a race. We're racing. It's not a trail ride. So you got to earn your pass. That's what I say. Earn it. Now, if it was a dangerous section or something like that, I'm not going to make someone go out of the way, you know, do something really dangerous to pass me. But this open riding desert stuff, yeah, I think you got to earn that pass. You're not going to just get a free pass. Kind of a long straightaway. They do have the markers for the turn coming up. This is kind of spaced out, so sometimes you could be the straightaways. You'd really get a lot of speed built up, and those markers come. So then I would start slowing down too soon because I didn't want to just blow past the turn. So this is round 1 through, and you know, I'd say round 2 going through the same course. It's much faster because you've seen it now. Now you know what to expect. And it's so funny, even though there's a lot of turn, your brain remembers. I don't know if it's like a racing function that your brain, even though I just rode it one time through, I'll remember that the next time, and I'll remember almost all these turns the next time I come through these tests, and so I'm able to ride it much faster. Yeah, so something was floating around on my eyeball and making it water. So it was my left one. I kept blinking and blinking and blinking, trying to get it out of my eyes. And some little leaf from one of these creosote bushes or something. And it was just, I should have just stopped and rubbed my eye out because it was bothering me the rest of this test until I was able to stop and clean my eye out. You know, my goggles, I don't know how I got in there because my goggles are sealed around my eyes, and I do have the clear lenses on. The clear lens, I felt like I should have done the tinted. Now, the GoPro picks up the contrast of the sand pretty good here, but there's several sections where it was so whitewashed out, it was hard to tell whoops from the no whoops. You know, I should have the tint. The tint would have helped me just distinguish the terrain a little bit better. So I usually ride tinted for the harder stuff. I like to ride clear so you can see better. But especially the way the sun reflected off the sand here, I think the tinted lens would have been a lot better. Saved it right there. Almost went down. Just that front end just digging in a little bit too much. I was pretty happy with my racing so far. I felt like I was going fast. Wasn't fatigued. I was up on my pegs most of the ride. I did have that fall on test 1, but it didn't hurt, didn't faze me, anything like that. I just felt like that was just a dumb layover, which I'll take. You know, you're gonna lay the bike over, and but I felt like I was going really good. I felt like I'm having a good race. I'm going fast. Made some passes. Haven't got past yet. So I felt good. Taking some of his washers kind of hard there. The 450, he's got a little bit stiffer suspension because it has extra weight on the bike. And you know, when you're coming in, it has, just think of all that extra weight. They got 100 pounds more on me than Case and Jace. All that extra weight that the suspension has to soak that up, especially those high speeds. It's a lot of force coming down. There's one of the watchers out there. So they were out there every once in a while. You'd see a guy standing out there looking at you, so you knew he kept you honest. You had to be on the, couldn't be cutting corners. Had to be on the line. Alright, coming up to some rocks. Got the next rider ahead of me, got him in my sights. A couple of these rocks here, I ran my air pressure today. The front was 14 and my rear was 10 psi. So I think that did pretty good. I run a tubeless system, I don't run looses. The guy ahead of me, he's started next to me on the start of the race, test one, and he pulls off to the left there and let me pass. Thank you. Like I said before that, yeah, you don't have to pull over, you know. There's many ways to get around someone. That's kind of the fun of racing, is trying to figure out how to make a pass. Now if someone's going like, you get to see some guys that are just very, very slow. They know they're going slow and they're not getting off the line. That can drive you nuts. They're out there, every race has them, and you know, they're out there for a joyride, and that's great. It just makes it sometimes not here. So many choices, you could pass that guy easily, but sometimes they're on a single track section where it's like impossible to pass him when you got to wait for a turn or something like that to get around him. But I enjoy the challenge of having to pass him. Tight squeeze through here. This time I went in the left. On the second test I went to the right and fared about the same, so I don't think there was a better way, left or right. Yeah, a lot of people were cutting that turn right there. That would have been where you could have had someone marking or looking at the course, because a lot of people were cutting that. Up to this little rock slab up here, you can cut right, you can go straight, you can cut right, you can cut right and cut off some, shave off some time there. I went kind of far left here, but I make my way back over. So yeah, then I cut back over. See, all waste time. I could have just rounded that out, straightened it out, and been a little quicker. I had a guy right in front of me. I could have been catching him, or I could have caught him. There it is, the end of test 2. Yeah, here's test 3. I took a little break, a couple minutes, and I'm off of test 3. I wouldn't say you need to take a 5-minute break or 15-minute break. I feel like I'd lose my mojo, I'd get out of the groove. So I like to, if I'm not fatigued, just keep it going, you know, because I feel like I'm in a rhythm. So start at test 3 here, a lot of loop sections. It's going to cut to the left, and then it gets through the rocks. A little bit harder, a lot more rocks on this test. It's just going to wear you out a little bit more. I feel I was faster on this test than I was the second time through. The second time through, I was starting to get a little bit tired, and I did have a crash the second time through. I hit my head on a rock as I dumped the bike over and kind of rung my bell. So then I called a knockoff. I was like, all right, just finish today's race, because I know we got a lot of riding the next day. Now, speaking of that, last night we rode down. King of the Motos is going on, and that is about 20 miles south of here. It's still in the same area. So last night we did a night ride, rode all the way down to where the King of the Hammers village is, and just checked it out. It was a fun night ride. We all have headlights, and it was a good little kind of warm up for today. So 20 there, 20 miles there, 20 miles back. It ended up being a 40+ mile ride last night, but we enjoyed it. Next year, I told the boys I want to do King of the Motos. I love Hard Enduro, hence the name Hardcore Enduro. So we're going to be entering in the King of the Motos next year, which happens on the same weekend. Now I love this race, and there's only so many weekends in the winter months. All this, this desert gets super hot, and all these clubs are trying to get as many races as they can while it's still cool. Because in the summer this will be 120 degrees. A little rock section there, get through it. Nice, good job, Trixie. Trixie is the name of my bike. So I gotta pat her back when she does something good, So the first Hard Enduro we're gonna do this year is Grinding Stone. So we're doing a lot of training now, working on all the technical stuff, all the stuff that people don't like to practice. That's what we're doing. Ledges, little rock climbs, rock faces, balance, static balance, really steep climbs, really steep descents. We're doing a lot of training. So we're going to Jawbone tomorrow, and we're going to get a lot of that. If you haven't ridden out Jawbone has a lot of extreme terrain. And it's a lot of fun to ride on, but it makes you got to be on your A game in a lot of these places in Jawbone, because it is extreme. So you got this kind of rock underneath the sand. It's got a little bit of sand on top of the rock, which does make it a little slippery. So you got to be a little cautious, because you can slide out here really easily. Just got that kind of pebbly, sandy rock right on top of the hard granite rock. Or overshoot that turn. In case so many people overshot that turn. Come back. All right, now we're back on it. Got a little bit of a rock climb through here. I like this little chunky section. A lot of people really fast through the whoop sections, and then it gets to the rock section, and there you can see they don't practice this much. But I do pretty good. I like this style of riding here. At this point, I think Case is the next rider behind me. I think he started 2 riders behind me, so about 30 seconds behind me, maybe 3 riders, so maybe 45 seconds, which is quite a bit on the Sprint Enduro. That's a lot of ground to cover. But I figured, I didn't know that. I thought he was ahead of me, so I wasn't trying to catch him. I was just trying to ride smart. And I figure this is my first time through this test, that I'll be able to do better the second time through the test. But he sees my cloud of dust, so he's coming for me. This is another turn. A lot of people cut this corner. I know the test 2 came through it. on, or to keep saying test 2, but second time through test 3, that corner there, everyone was cutting it. They should have had a spotter there. That keep people honest. I guess if someone cuts a corner, everyone just starts cutting it like a just open game, you know. Oh, someone cut that corner, I'm going to cut that corner. And everyone just starts cutting the hell out of the corners. Previous week, we were down in Bullhead. One of my best friends, he lives in Bullhead. And we did a lot of riding. It has a lot of just kind of flowy, fast, really rocky sections. And that helped me out a lot for this race. Just being able to bob and weave between the rocks, you know, helped out on this style of riding. I keep telling Kyle, like, you need to do a race. You'd be really good at Sprint Enduro. You know, he doesn't like the Hard Enduro style of riding, but the fast flowy stuff he likes. He's really good at. I keep telling him he needs to race this. He'd be able to do really good, I think. Oh, get off the line. No, I'm on the line. See, the markers are there. So you can see to the right, everyone was just cutting this section off. That's over the 25 feet. I'm just joking. To dock someone 2 minutes, I'm like, you really got to be doing something dumb to dock 2 minutes, I think. But I did notice a lot of people cut that corner there, where they straightened it out. Where I went down to left, they went straight. So I look back, I see there's a rider behind me. It happens to be Case. I didn't know that. So I'm like, all right, there's a rock section here. It's maybe a little hard for him to pass. So I'm going to pull over and let this rider pass so I don't give him make him have to do something stupid through the rocks. So there he goes. But I see it's Case. I'm like, really? All right. If I knew his Case, I would have just kept on and made him work. So now I'm going to be chasing him to the finish. So I see how fast he's riding though, and I'm actually really proud. I'm like, all right, this is we've been teaching him for a couple of years now how to ride, and now look at him, he's gone for it. You know, don't have to babysit him anymore. Just Case, you go, you do it. We can work on some of the more fundamentals of really technical stuff, but this is racing now. He's on his own. You're seeing what he can do, what his instincts do, what, all the things that I've taught him. It's kind of awesome to see. I know there's a lot of dad and son riders out there. In case my nephew, my brother, he doesn't ride, but I understand their feeling of when they have their sons, or in this case my nephew, pass me up. It's even though I don't want him to pass me, I want to beat him. But it's an awesome feeling. I really am proud of him.
I don't know how a day Case got ahead of me.
There, in case you made the pass, well done. Now I gotta make a pass. Go to pass someone, I usually wait for them to make a mistake, or the line splits and you can cut them off. Take a different line, get them around them. That's what I do there. There's a nice little rock section though, and then I do a classic stall the bike. I've done that many races where I do a pass. As soon as I pass some guy, I crash, dump the bike, and then he gives me back. So right there, Made the pass, get over there and installed it, but I was luckily got the bike going again. Now right here, this turn, the second time through the test 3, I crashed right here. So I make it through this test 3 the first time, and I'm going to show you guys what I did the second time through. So it's the same turn, second time through. I wash out, nose the bike over, and my head lands. There's a hard rock under that sand, and my head just slams on it, rings my bell quite a bit. So now I'm back on to where I was before. This is test 3, first time through. But after that crash, on the second time through, I said, all right, knock it off, finish the race. You got a lot of riding to do, and you know, no reason to push the limits. Like I said, we're not getting paid to ride, so I just finished the ride, and then, you know, you had a good day. Right here, this is a crazy line. You could go left. I went right through the middle and hit that rock just perfectly right off the top. That second time through, I almost crashed right there because I went to the right of it, and I think it was because I just rung my bell and my mind wasn't focused yet. But got lucky, made it through. So there's Case out ahead of me. Now I gotta run him down. Come on, Trixie, giddy up. Let's get him. So Case, you got off the line a little bit, so we got to cut back over to get back on the pink the ribbon line. That happens so much. You get fixated on the rider ahead of you instead of the course, and it's so easy to get off the course. You know, if they get lost, then you get lost. Yeah, there you are, Case. Gotcha. Right in front of me. Thought you were getting away, but I caught you. That big rock right there, second time through, I blasted that sucker. It went, I don't know how, I just didn't see it or wasn't paying attention and just blasted that sucker. It's a real fun section. A lot of rocks through here. It's so funny, you know, people love the technical sections. I think race organizers to try to fit more of it, because the riders love it. It really separates skill levels. Open riding, desert riding, yeah, still have that in there, but I mean, they had a ton of it. And I think riders, maybe it's all individual. Riders like me love it. Maybe other people like the open desert route stuff. So maybe just make more half and half and not so dominant on the open desert stuff. No, I know they were making the first test easy, second test a little bit harder, so they had that strategy going to mine. But I really test 3. Say this to me would be like a 1 easy. They could go start this as a base and get harder from here. I'm just saying that because I suck in the open sand sections. If I didn't suck at it, I'd probably be saying, yeah, more open sand stuff because I fly, but yeah, I suck. When it comes to open sandy berm turns, I just don't practice. I'm just no good at it. Oh, what happened to Case? He kind of lost me through the rocks. I thought I was catching him, but he jumped out ahead. All right, let's go. Get him back. Get after it. You can see he just cut left. Going around now. He washed out right there. He came in too hot on that turn. So I come in. I see him laying over here. He's getting the bike up. I was going to stop and help him, but I see he's getting back on the bike. Yeah, we keep running. If he would have been laying there not moving, I would have stopped, of course. Oh, that was close. I almost ate it myself right there. But I know the end, the finish line is real close. So now it's every man out for himself. If his mom's watching, I'm like, I would have stopped and helped. Yes, I would have helped my nephew for sure. But he got back on the bike. That's a sign that the rider's good. So I'm just trying to ride clean, no mistakes towards the finish. I know Case is right on my butt. I'm like, all right, just don't lay the bike over. Don't overshoot a turn so he can get the inside corner on you. So I'm just trying to ride a clean race. There's only like 500 yards to go. Yeah, this fun little rock climb here in the shadows, and when you ride it was kind of hard to see what was in there. And if you're coming behind someone, you get in their dust. So that was kind of a fun climb that you had to think about a little bit. So Case ended up getting passed back there. So then I got to another guy that's behind me, different guy. He's right behind me. And I didn't know that. I still thought it was Case, so I wasn't going to pull over and let him pass me, which the finish line is right there. So at this point, you're not letting anybody pass you. You're going for it. So this is the end of test 3. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and saw what Sprint Enduro is all about, especially the 100 MCs. High fives to them. They put on a good race. We enjoyed it. Boys enjoyed it. Tomorrow we're riding up Jawbone, which will be pretty extreme. I'll be coming out with that video shortly. So until then, get out and ride and get some.
Where's Jace?